There we go. Welcome to Sustainable Health. Welcome to, we're sort of in progress, but welcome to Sustainable Health live chat. And we are at Pickles Potions in Winthrop, Maine. And Kristin Mutchler, who is the owner, she's there. She is giving us a tour around. So we're looking at her special emulsified lotion.
Yes.
With tansy in it. You were telling
Yes,
us about
blue
tansy.
Yeah, so blue tansy is also called Moroccan chamomile. So it has a lot of the same elements as a chamomile. It has the same azulene, which is the blue in the chamomile. So it's very calming and relaxing. But it has a different scent than chamomile. Chamomile is very like apple and hay scented. This is more like exotically florally herby. It's hard to explain. It's really wonderful smell. Do you want to smell it?
I do want to smell it.
Here,
I'm probably going to want to buy it before I leave. Oh, this is the lotion. You gave me some.
Did I give you some of that?
Let me smell. Oh, yeah.
It's really interesting. It's different.
Wow.
And
Really
it has
nice.
fragrances in it.
Putting it on my face. It's wonderful. There.
It's a really nice fragrance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Blue tansy is remarkable. It's
hard to describe though.
It is. It's fantastic.
Okay.
I love it. Oh yes, hyaluronic acid, not hydrochloric acid. Although people come in here asking me for hydrochloric acid all the time.
Oh boy.
No, not that. Hyaluronic. And this actually occurs naturally in our skin. It sounds really scary. You're like, I'm not putting that on my face. But your skin naturally already has this in it. But as we age, we just don't produce it anymore, which is why we start getting a little bit like saggy and our skin doesn't look as plump.
If you want to see saggy, I'll show you my face. Okay.
But the hyaluronic acid helps to like, plump out your skin cells. It gives you more like youthful, hydrated look. So it's not like an artificial plumping, but it's just like a hydrated look. And these are two newer ones. They are made with all berry oils and berry waters, like blueberry. When they extract the juice, there's this distillate, this evaporation that they collect, and it smells like blueberries, but there's no sugar in it because that's all gone into the juice. But it's fantastic. So I don't use water. I just use the blueberry distillate. And so it has just like this fantastic.
So I heard you earlier saying that you originally started making lotions for your daughter.
Yes.
Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah. So her skin was just horribly like red, irritated. She would get these big bloody patches because, children, they just like scratch themselves to death. And so I started making an eczema salve, which is over here. And so it's the eczema elixir. And so this has all these different oils and plant butters that all help with like damaged skin barrier. So this is fantastic for like protecting and also healing the skin. I use like local beeswax. I also use local pastured lard and a bunch of different herbs that I grow myself. And
you grow most of your herbs.
I do, yeah. I grow most of the herbs.
And so you just like started using the knowledge that you had with your daughter and getting good results?
Yeah, and so this is like, has been a progression.
That was your original product.
Yeah, and it's definitely changed a lot. As I learn more and I find out more about different herbs and different oils, I'll be like, okay, that one has to go in there. And she loves this current one. She's like, oh, I'm getting itchy again. She'll go and like grab the cream.
Really? I should get some of that too because I break out in hives.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. There's also zinc oxide in it, and that's not just sunblock. I mean, that stuff is amazing for like irritated, itchy, red, inflamed skin. It helps to reduce inflammation.
It's indestinate, isn't it?
Exactly. And it's fantastic for babies. It's good for sun protection, and it's good for like any kind of irritated skin.
And the older women and the women of a certain age, not that there are any among us.
You're laughing.
Yeah, that's funny.
So what else do you want to show us?
Oh,
I mean, we're just getting a sampling here. There's
But
so
let's
many
talk
things.
more about the natural stuff.
Yeah, well, it's all the natural stuff. But I think I just want to say a little bit of something. Let's see,
And
the
we're
lighting
right.
is kind of wonky here.
Yeah, come over here. This
There
is
we go.
good.
Okay, one of the things for me, and I just found out tonight that Kristin grew up in the Philippines. So she's very familiar with the traditional Chinese medicine, which is what sustainable health is also based on, and that understanding the energetics of the essence of the plants and the essence of the other ingredients. So for instance, when she's talking about the pasteurized lard, and you have a lot of vegan products here, but when you do that, you're looking at an animal who has been living outside, living the way animals are meant to live, and getting the sunshine, eating the grass, and eating the other kinds of things. So it makes a huge difference to have, use that kind of a product, and also to grow your own. When you grow your own, you also have the essence of love, which is why one of the reasons why home cooked food is so tasty is because it has the essence of love in it as well.
Right, the energies.
Yeah, the energy, the energetic
into it.
essence. Yeah, Dr. Lou always called it essence, but it's
like
the
that.
energy.
Yeah.
And let's see.
But yeah, I mean, that's so true. And I mean, the oils that I infuse with herbs that I've grown myself are completely different than the ones that I have to like buy. It's shocking. Even the way they look and the way they smell, it's just completely different. You can tell the difference.
And you can walk into this shop and feel it, really.
Yeah.
I think.
For sure.
And Marcia said the same thing. So she's been wondering why Roberta and everybody's, she usually sits in the car and I come in here, and tonight she came in and she's like, oh, now I see why you come in here every time we come to Winthrop. So Chris, you're going to definitely come by next time you're in Maine. So you know exactly where. It's right in Main Street, right across from the old post office, which is now Freckles Salvage, right? So what else do you want to tell us about your?
Oh, I don't.
Can we peek at the lab?
It's a bit of a mess. I've been making things all day.
Okay.
So
Yeah, let's.
when you take a peek, if you'll
Let's
let us,
take a
just don't
peek.
judge me.
Take a peek.
Don't judge me on my lab mess.
Look at all this. This is where you have the products to mail out.
Yeah. So those are all the products that are going to be mailed or like restocked. This is a lot of that.
Great.
So yeah, this is my lab. I've been doing dishes
Wow.
and some herbal infusions.
Did you have to put in the sink?
The sink was already here because this used to be a cafe.
Right, it was.
Yeah, so I've been making more oil infusions today, like lavender.
You grow all your own lavender?
The lavender, a lady near us in Wayne grows it because we just don't have sandy enough soil. Our soil is too clay.
Oh, and you need
rich.
sandy soil
It's
for
sandy
lavender?
and like sunny.
I got
Sandy and
sand
sunny.
all
You
out
should-
by my.
Yeah.
You need to grow
Dang,
lavender
all
and then
right.
send it to me.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so this is like, I got tons of different herbs and oils up here. You can see the color of this. This is like incredibly green now. You can't really see it at all. But it's like emerald.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see it there? Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like it is so green.
What is that?
This is yarrow from my yard.
Wow.
And this is one of the best things for like inflammation and even bleeding. So if you're ever like
Ooh.
cut yourself out in the woods, you go grab some yarrow and just like mash it up and put it right into your wound, you'll stop bleeding. It's pretty amazing
Wow.
stuff. Lots of stuff.
Okay. Well, thanks for a peek in your
Yeah.
lab.
Thanks for not judging me on my
And look, a lab coat.
Yeah, I'm good at everything.
So let's go, and we had it set up so we could sit and talk, and then we can do some questions and answers. And I'm gonna let you guys, we've only got the six of us today. So I'm gonna let, we had it set up different before, let's see. I don't wanna, is this gonna knock? Okay. There we
How about
go.
the shelf?
Yeah, that might work. Oh, that's actually better, I think. Okay, let's see. We can always move our chairs up a little closer if you want. All right, yeah, move your chair just a little. Okay, so we're talking about autumn energy. So we're talking about We're talking about lungs and colon. So what the metal energies do is the kind of the crystallizing and the purifying. And in traditional Chinese medicine, they say that the lungs decide where all the nutrients are supposed to go, which is completely counter to anything that you'll learn in Western medicine. But it is that sense of what goes up and becomes pure or what goes out the back door. So we're gonna do, I have a video in progress about talking trash at the dump, because as above, so below, as inside, outside, the trash that we take in eventually goes out the back door, whether you're eating it or whether you're buying it at Walmart. Yeah, it's still, you have that experience. And then the skin is also very important and also resonates with metal, because it's essentially protective. It's like armor in a sense, only it's an energetic armor. And then the smell, which is of course connected to the lungs, that is also part of that. And then the emotion that gets, that is connected to metal energy is grief. And of course I've been packing all day. And of course I waited until the very last 2 days that I was here to pack up a whole 6 months worth of stuff. And Marcia can tell you how excellently I handled that. And she's over here rolling her eyes back in her head. So I can just tell you, I actually am born under the sign of the rabbit and the metal rabbit. So I should have really good stuff with this.
We teach what we have to learn.
We teach what we have to learn. This is my most difficult, although I love fall, it's one of my favorite seasons. I have a lot of trouble with grief. I have a lot of trouble with clutter. If you read the Sustainable Health book, you'll see that, you know, the most important thing you can do is that 15 minutes or 15 things that you throw away every day. I struggle with that. We made our trip to the dump today, but still it's tough stuff. But this is the season to really go into that. Yeah, did you have your hand up, Tamer? Or you were just waving around? Okay, so those are the things that we work on, and gratitude is one of the ways that we it's like the complementary habit. I say, this is me, not necessarily traditional Chinese medicine, but that when we have grief, the more grateful we can be, the more we can practice gratitude. So gratitude is something like decluttering. It's a practice. You have to really do it. And they've done wonderful studies that show that that people who are depressed really do. They've actually done studies that show that people who make a gratitude list every day have better outcomes than people who take antidepressants. And at least one of those studies was done with African-American men, which is not a demographic you would expect to do well with it necessarily with that, but yet they also showed an improvement in depression, better outcomes than with tranquilizers or with antidepressants. So all of that, this is your chance to ask Kristin questions about skin and skincare, and me any other questions you might have. So this is our opportunity for that. So wave your hand and unmute yourself. And
Jill.
Okay, Jill, you had your hand up first.
Hello. Thanks for this introduction to your shop. It sounds really great. I have a couple of questions of both of you. One of them has to do with the liver. And as far as cleansing the liver, what, Susan, do you recommend that's natural and that would not necessarily be toxic? And also, I'm so sorry, I forgot your name.
Kristin.
Kristin, I'm sorry. What products do you have, if you have any, that are kind of related to the liver? But I also just want to say that I'm vegan, so I would be interested in only products that had no animal, no beeswax, no lard or anything in it. So those are my questions.
Lots of them, by the way. I do. You want me to? I'll take that. So when we look at the natural elements, we're looking at, metal, and the liver actually is connected to the element of wood. And wood and metal, if you look at my healing compass, you'll see that they're in the east and west positions with wood to the east and metal to the west. And this is the ancient compass that was used in China as well. So, so they have a complementary relationship to each other. If you think about it, you know, they're like, what I say is they're BFF, you know, but your best friend is the one who's going to challenge you, you know, so you, and all of the elements have a relationship. They have a mother-daughter relationship, and they have this BFF relationship. So your mom says, hey, you know, you look so good in that little Peter Pan collar. Make sure you button that top button. Make sure your skirt goes below your knees. Oh, you look fine, honey. And your best friend says, we're going to go around the corner and you're going to change up before we go to that party. So there is this kind, or, you know, this is kind of relationship. And so I don't know what you're going to say about products for the liver, because I'm sure you may have some. But anything that goes onto your skin, okay, if you think about plants, if you have a plant that's out of control, growing everywhere, you're going to prune it. You're going to do that with the metal shears. So, or you're going to put it up on a trellis, which may be made of wood, but it can also be made of metal. So it's again that how do we contain, the metal is more of the containing and the structural. So I'm going to let her go for the products. Wow. What have you got?
I don't know if I have much for internal use, but I think that dandelion tea would be a fantastic thing to drink.
But what about skin?
And then topically, I think massage oil. I have a lymphatic promoting massage oil, and
so the dandelion tea gel, by the way, is really good, and so is play. That's the occupation. So you want to get very playful. So you can be playful, you know, with these products too.
Right.
This is totally like play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the lymphatic massage oil would be perfect for massaging, self-massaging in that area and all over the lymph area. So this has several herbs, including like astragalus and calendula and sesame oil, grapefruit, and it's all great for like helping to move the lymph around and drain the various clogged areas inside. But that would definitely, and it is vegan.
That's good.
And and we'll do another live chat on this as well, and I'll probably have a post on it. In the book, in the last chapter, there's a massage, you know, that, you know, washing yourself, and it follows the meridians. Okay. So it follows the meridians, you know, and so any massage oil like that you would take all through the meridians, or any kind of lotion that you would take and go through, whether you're soaping up, washing up, everything, if you follow those meridians, you're going to be moving that energy around. And essentially it is very similar, I think, to what we would call lymphatic drainage. There's an overlap between Western medicine and traditional Chinese medicine. But it's not a one-to-one correspondence. It's an overlap. Any of the dandelions, you know, dandelion tea is good. Right. Dandelion greens are great, you know, especially in the spring, which is the month, is the season for wood energy for the liver. But still eating, if you like, I don't know if you like, you're Italian. No, you're Jewish.
Yeah, I'm
no.
Jewish, yeah. But I like bitter foods. Yeah.
Lots of dandelion greens. So you can find them all over in New York because of the Italian neighborhoods. And
absolutely,
you can prepare them the way you would prepare any kind of a strong tasting green.
Right. I didn't say anything. And also arugula has a good, you know.
Arugula?
Yeah, that's a good bitter flavor.
I thought you said rugaluk.
No, not arugula. That's always good.
It's always good, yeah. Any greens, really, any leafy greens are good for the liver.
Okay.
And play. Next case. So do you have any more questions? I tend to over-answer, but yeah.
Roberta.
Okay.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Roberta's next, and then I think Chris.
Yes, I have a question. You mentioned before about inflammation, because I do have a problem with that. Do you sell a product that's topical that would be good for general inflammation?
Yes, actually I do. I have a willow bark salve, and it has St. John's wort. It has the yarrow that I grow. It has arnica, and it also has like capsaicin and turmeric. So it has a lot of things that help with inflammation and also just like general pain from the area. But the St. John's wort and the yarrow and the willow bark really help reduce the inflammation.
But that's the one I bought for you.
Oh yeah, you
Great.
haven't had that yet?
Marsha, I bought some for Marsha. She was trying it, one lotion
Oh yeah,
after
was it?
another.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
for her knee, yeah.
Yeah, I had a pain earlier here from all the like repetitive things this morning, and I was massaging it, and now I can't even feel it anymore. It helps so much.
And part of what's really important to do with any of the oils and stuff, a lot of it is how you massage it in. And you know, if you're like just slapdash, you know, I got to get out the door, you're not going to get the benefit that you get from really rubbing it in. And also this part of our hand is associated with fire energy. You often see religious icons where they have rays coming out of the hands, or eyes, or, you know, depends which religion it is, what's coming out of the hands. But this is a direct communication to the heart, and from the heart to the general, you know, the love that surrounds us. So that's another thing when you're massaging, to use that part of the hand with any of these products.
Chris.
All right, Chris.
Okay, I've got a lot of questions, but let's start with Kristin. You were talking about the original product you created for your daughter. It was a little jar. And you were also talking about a kind of acid that isn't hydrochloric acid. What's the word for that?
It's
the acid that is the good stuff?
Yeah, hyaluronic.
Say
Hyaluronic.
Hyaluronic?
Yeah, hyaluronic acid.
Okay, all right. Now, I've been itchy all my life, right? And it comes and it goes. But for the past several years, I've been treated by a dermatologist for what she describes as contact dermatitis. And I've got a constantly itchy eyelid, just this one. And, you know, it comes and it goes. And I have, you know, changed all my products to no fragrance, no color, you know, everything. And this persists. And, you know, I have some creams that she has and ointments, whatever, that she has prescribed that deal with the flares. Every now and then it gets really bad, and this kind of makes it go back. But, you know, it's really, she basically says it's never going to really go away completely. And then she says, because it's contact dermatitis, it's almost impossible to figure out what it is that is causing this, because some of the chemicals, you know, in all the stuff we use, whether it's laundry detergent, dish detergent, shampoo, conditioner, you know, whatever.
The air.
The air, that this stuff, you could be exposed 6 months ago and it could still be affecting you. And it's like, so it's like basically then impossible to figure out what you could stop doing or using to make this go away. I find this incredibly frustrating. You know, do other people have these problems?
Yeah, they definitely do. And with my daughter, you know, she'll go through cycles. Last year, we cut out like all her food was like severely limited because we just couldn't figure it out. You know what? I mean, we were doing all the creams, and you know, I just kept changing the creams and adding new herbs, and eventually it went away, and it's been gone since then, thankfully.
That's your eczema cream.
Yeah, but I mean, but like I've been making that for her since she was a baby. but it wasn't working at that time. But we weren't sure if it was like where we were or if it was at the camp, like what was it, so. But I would recommend using something like that because there are, like shampoo, conditioner, all those things, they all have like preservatives and all kinds of other things that they have to put in it to make it safe for use. But something like the eczema elixir that I have is completely anhydrous, so there is no water, so there's no need for preservative. So it's much better for delicate, sensitive, compromised skin to have something that's completely oil-based so that it doesn't have any potential for like reaction with the preservatives, because they are pretty aggressive. Very important. You've got to use them for some things, but they are harmful for lots of people. But yeah, I would recommend trying that. Yeah.
Okay, great.
And I think the other thing that's really important and where the power often comes in traditional Chinese medicine and other alternative healings, particularly those that link the body, mind, and spirit together. And when we talk about spirit, really talking about emotions and how we connect with those, I think. So one of the things to think about is what is causing grief to happen. How is that, what's that relationship about? And then going back to connect back around to Jill, is that again, that the skin, the metal energy has this BFF relationship with wood energy. So, and that's anger. So anger and grief can go together. That they can create depression, but they do have, while you're dealing with while you're using the lotions and that kind of stuff, if you can take a meditative moment to think about that and to deal with that, or to begin, exploring that in some kind of meditative way, it can also be really, really helpful. And in terms of you'll never get better, a lot of times Western medicine tells us, oh, this can never get better, this can never be cured, this will never go away. That means that they don't have a treatment for it. It doesn't mean that no one in the world has a treatment for it. And in fact, oftentimes, I myself have experienced, I had chronic back pain forever, and I can still have flare-ups, but I don't have anything near like what I had 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I think that that's one of the lessons I've learned in working with the kids I work with disabilities, who are also told, their parents are told that nothing can be done to help them, when in fact, I have a suitcase of things that will work. I have a whole toolbox full of things, and so do most of the therapists that I know. But it isn't pharmaceuticals, it isn't surgery, and therefore it's not recognized. So I would say don't give up. Give a try for this eczema cream. I'm going to buy a bottle before I leave.
Well, so my other question, Kristin, to you is that, just the past 6 months since March, a lot of people are under a lot more stress.
Yeah.
And has that increased your business in the sense that, maybe skin outbreaks and stuff are stress related, or how in your business have you been able to respond to the challenges of COVID?
Yeah, it's surprising. There's been a definite increase, especially online sales, and people keep writing and they have specific complaints. People are writing about maskne, there's this whole new thing.
Right.
And, and then like stress, I've been selling so many more of my like essential oil rollers. So I have a stress one and I have a headache one. And also the like essential oil jewelry diffusers and blends that we use. People are buying so many more natural remedies, because that's what they can try, and that's what they're more willing to try now than go to a doctor and medicines.
And with scented, cosmetics or lotions and stuff, when they're using artificial scents, which most products we buy do have some sort of artificial scents in them, or those products can be highly toxic even in small doses. So when you're working with plant essences and with essential oils and that kind of stuff, it's a wholly different experience.
Oh, yeah.
And indeed, the smells do change. When you smell something, you have one nerve ending in your nose that goes directly into your autonomic system, which is the part of your brain that regulates everything. And it is a single synapse, and you're right there. So scents
so
can
powerful.
work better. That's why you can walk into the shop and say, "Oh my," because it's all the natural scents.
And I was just reading how like trauma is stored, and you can't access like that stored trauma like in your cells anyway, except through scent. You can't do it by touch or sound or anything. It has to be through scent, which is why the plant essences are so powerful, because they really can like unlock that and help release that trauma.
So what scents do you know, I'm going back to Jill's question again, what scents do you know that are going to help release anger and toxicity, stress? Because the liver, the wood energy is all about stress.
Oh, that's a good question. I have to go get my book, but I did write a couple of them down just because there's so many. But some of
Which
the
is
ones,
a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It's just like surprising. It's amazing. But rose kept coming back, and that rose was good for the grief and also for like the anger, and also just like both softening the heart and allowing the heart to receive. Like both ways, in and out.
Rose and apple are related, and they're both really powerful. Rose, because it acts like it's a heart. Both apples and roses are heart.
Is that
Our
the
heart.
cream you're using at night?
No. Okay. Well, I'll get back to that. What I'm using now is what I bought here.
Because I don't like the rose scent from
That I
commercial
have.
products. but
Right.
what-
Because it's real rose.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's amazing. The difference is amazing. Because I said, I don't like rose. Don't wear anything with
Right.
rose.
But it's the artificial rose.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. Rose also helps with sleep because sleep, we have to have a peaceful heart to sleep. And if you have ever watched a dog or cat sleep, you just know how peaceful their hearts are, and babies too.
Yeah.
Adults, our hearts are not so peaceful. We have the little monkey mind, activating stuff. But again, rose is really good for that as well.
I say frankincense too. Frankincense is so powerful.
I love frankincense.
There's so many things that frankincense can target.
Any other
Chris, did you have any more questions? Okay. She's gonna.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I never stop. Okay, so you talked about emulsified products, and I don't know what that means.
Okay, so emulsified products are any like lotions that have water and some oil. Most lotions in the stores are about 80% water and then 20% other things, and maybe a small amount of oil. And the oil is what is so nourishing, and you really want to find things that are anhydrous, so there's no water in them. And that is like skin food. It's literally food for your skin. You want to nourish that just as we do our bodies internally. And, using the same kind of oils that you eat, you can do that too. But,
If you taste it and your body says ick,
right.
you probably ought not to put it on your skin.
Right.
I used to have a friend who would, the first thing she would do with any new tampon that came on the market is lick it. And if it didn't taste good, she didn't use it.
It's very smart. There's a lot of really horrible stuff in those. Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
You could-
That's it. That's good.
But emulsifying is when you mix it.
Yeah, you mix it
so
together.
if yours are anhydrous, how do you emulsify them?
I don't. So if the emulsified ones, like the lotion, that you need to use like an emulsifying wax of some sort. You can use, there's different, like I use an olive Duract one, so it is still natural. And then you have to mix it with like high shear, with like water and the oil and the emulsifying wax.
But it's tricky. If you've ever tried to make mayonnaise, that's an emulsion.
It's like that.
And you've ever made homemade mayonnaise, you know how easy it is to screw it up.
Yeah, it's just like that. But then the problem with that too is you have to use a preservative, and don't ever buy a lotion like, oh, just put it in the fridge, it'll be fine, because it won't. Like I'm shocked at people that sell lotions that don't have something in there to protect
Right,
you.
'cause it would go
It's
rancid.
the microbes in it, they just immediately begin, and you just can't see it, but you're putting them on your skin, and then you're just
What do you
holding
use
yourself.
for the preservative in
I
yours?
use something called Preservative Eco, so it's an eco certified preservative that is okay, and it's a combination of different things, but it's none of that like formaldehyde or parabens and any of those like toxic things that can stay in you. So
And I know there's some plants that are also,
there's some that are good like for like helping with anti-rancidity, but they don't help kill microbes, and that's the problem.
okay.
And so just vitamin E and like rosemary and grapeseed extract are great for oil-based products, but if you're going to put an instant water in it, it's dangerous.
Water is the key to life.
Any other questions?
All right, who else has got a question? Tamer makes some products too. She's sent me some stuff.
Yeah, but all I use is shea butter.
That's awesome. That's incredibly nourishing stuff.
And
Lots
actually,
and lots of shea butter.
if you know, the least expensive way in many ways and most nourishing, and you know, I mean, you practiced for like what you're telling me, like 10 years
Yeah.
before you started making products. She
Yeah.
was playing and practicing. So it takes a while to get to this level of skill. But if you don't want to have that, don't have that level of skill, olive oil, coconut oil, shea butter, just use them plain, even, just use them.
Just organic, unrefined oils. You know?
You can put them on your skin and they don't smell as nice. They're not quite as soothing and exquisite as what you get when somebody can put them together. But they definitely
They'll work
do
in
the
a
job.
pinch.
They will do the job in a pinch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Well, thank you all. Oh, hand up there, Chris. Oh,
Jill, yeah. Well, I just want to say that, Kristin, I'd like to actually talk to you about a regime you'd recommend, because I had facials for many years, and then the nurse practitioner that I used them with stopped doing those. And I don't want to just go for any facial. I'd like to use products on my own, toner, anything I can use. So I assume you're available during the weekday to talk when your shop's open about these things?
Absolutely. Yeah, and you can email me. We can do Zoom, any of that. We can.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
and the email address here is
Picklepotions.com.
pickle at picklepotions.com.
We should have
And
some-
you-
At Pickle Potion.
Is it in?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, so
Go in the chat.
Susan,
And Susan's gonna send out an email with it.
good. So, Kristin, my question was, how did you and Susan meet up?
right here in the shop.
She just walked in?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, it was great. She walked in and she's been here several times.
Yeah,
No,
and
right.
I can't keep her away from here,
Is it
Chris.
.com or not?
We come in
Really?
Winthrop to go to the laundry,
Yeah.
she has to come here. And she doesn't come
I
out
see.
empty-handed,
Ever.
and whatever she comes out with is really good stuff, so I can't complain.
Right. It almost sounds like an ice cream store.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah, kind of. It's real good.
It is for Susan. The Winthrop, there's a few new stores this year in Winthrop, and one of them is the Freckle Salvage across the street, and they have wonderful, she's like got wonderful
Tchotchkes.
tchotchkes. Yeah, that's the word,
Yeah.
tchotchkes. And she recommended Kristin, actually, I think it was before you had actually opened your doors. And so when I saw her open, I came
She
in
ran,
and now every time we do the laundry, I
Yeah,
have to come
yeah.
buy something. And
Right.
I think I sent in an email that I had a high school friend who just passed away a week ago Monday, and she's a twin, so it was really heartbreaking for her sister. And I came in here, and that was, I think, the first time I came in, maybe. And I had wonderful customer service from Kristin, who set me up with a wonderful facial regime that I've really been enjoying. And also,
I've been enjoying it too. I don't use it, but I kiss her face a lot.
And also, I got an aroma diffuser bracelet and some body butter. And she was really touched, and it made her cry, which is good. You know, we want tears. This is the season. We want to let grief go. We want the tears. They're healing. So all of those things are good. All right.
Awesome.
Well, and does anyone else have another question? Otherwise, I'll we'll thank Kristin. And you can also reach her on Etsy,
Yeah.
Pickles Potions on Etsy,
Oh,
and
cool.
you have your own
Yeah,
website.
we have a website too. Just type in Pickles Potions and then Google something, will pop up.
Yeah, and there was a lot of stuff, and you saw the video. I think I enclosed it in the invitation. So
Very cool.
lots of wonderful things there, and it's good to see everybody tonight. And
Thank you, Kristin.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you guys.
all right, I'll see you later. Bye. All right, I stopped recording. We're in the process of packing up and going, so we're not going to sit and chat tonight like I sometimes do. But I'll be back in 2 weeks with a live chat, and we'll chit chat after the recording then. Bye-bye. Marcia's
Kristen has
like,
to go home.
Kristen has to go home. She has a baby.
Had a long
All right,
day.
we'll see you later.
Susan, can you email me your address?
My address? Yeah,
Yes.
I will.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, then that speaks.